Hey guys, welcome to the channel. I'm Peter, and today we're going white sea bass hunting. Well, to be more accurate, I went white sea bass hunting. So this is my third white sea bass that I got, and I actually went out yesterday and got him. So being the third white sea bass, that constitutes the most white sea bass I ever got in a season. So I thought I'd make a little video and share with you. And the fact that it's number 3, that means there was a number 2 between that first video I posted of my first white sea bass and this one. And so I'm going to tell you about fish number 2, and then I'll tell you about fish number 3. Fish number 2 was a nice little dive, and you guys know I video, and oftentimes I video with my mask camera, but I also have a camera on my gun. And because sometimes I don't know how long I'm going to be in the water, I started switching between cameras. So most of the time I only video when I'm underwater, but I have shot fish from the surface. So this time I started turning my camera on the surface, but then alternating so I don't run out of video footage on either device. So on this particular occasion, I'm working through the kelp, and I have my mask camera on. And at some point I decided to switch, so I turn off my mask camera and I turn on my gun camera. And I'm quietly working my way through the kelp. And so 2 white sea bass come through between some kelp on my right side. Now, I'm swimming with my gun camera on, and when I see those fish, immediately I take the gun and I position it with my left hand. I take the gun, swing it over, and pull the trigger with my hand behind me and over my shoulder. This is from the surface. And unfortunately, when I do that, this is where my camera is. In the video, you only see my arm come across, swing into position, and fire into that fish. And I approximated where I was shooting. I aimed for the head, as usual, and it was a nice shot. It went through the left gill plate and out the right gill plate, which inevitably left the entire body unmolested, no extra holes, which I'm ecstatic about. And it was a great fish. First time that's happened to me, when a fish snuck up on me so quick and so close. But it pays to be quiet in the kelp forest and be ready at all times, even on the surface. That was a great fish, and so I ikejimi'd it on the shore real quick and left. So fish number 2 was great. Not the biggest fish I've ever shot, for sure, but still a really nice eating fish. And so that leads me to yesterday. Yesterday on my dive, as I'm working my way in the water through the kelp, I am consciously aware that it can happen at any time. So I am keeping my head on a swivel. I'm looking ahead, I'm looking to the left, I'm looking to the right, and I'm being quiet and working my way through the kelp. I was actually on my way out to the outer edge of the kelp, but this was actually in transit towards that, in kind of a passageway that I found. And so as I'm making my way through, I actually see a white sea bass down to my right. And out of surprise, and as I'm looking at it, I can't tell how big it is. It looks kind of big enough, but I just wasn't sure. It didn't look that big, so I decided not to shoot, thinking that, all right, I just saw one pretty early in my dive, I'll see another one. And so at that point, I actually turned off my camera and then realized, wait, it can happen anytime. I turned it back on, just in time for me to see another fish on my left through the kelp. And as I spot this guy cruising through slowly, I decide I'm going to shoot. I think it's big enough. I aim for the head as usual and pull the trigger. And I ended up connecting. You can see right here, I'll turn this fish so you can see. I hit him literally along the center line at an angle from back here, down and through the gill plate right here, right through there. So I might have got a little bit of the collar meat, but technically speaking, again, all this beautiful meat is preserved and unmolested, no extra holes. So that means I'm going to get maximum yield out of this catch, which is which is great. And so shot this guy. He takes a run down, and it wasn't very deep, but it was pretty filled with kelp. So it took a little bit to untangle things, a little bit of a spaghetti mess. But ultimately I got him. I put him out. I cut the gills to bleed him out. Took some selfies as usual. And then made my way back to shore in that completely satisfied, euphoric, triumphant feeling. It was so epic. And to be quite honest, I think I shot this fish within 10 to 15 minutes of getting in the water, which actually, when I think about all 3 white sea bass this season, that's what happened. I have shot all 3 fish at the beginning of my dives about 10 minutes in, 15, and that is definitely out of the ordinary. It's typically a long dive. I've spent hours in the water finding nothing or maybe having a chance, but this season has been just crazy for me. I think it's been crazy for the community because for whatever reason this season, maybe because of the storms, we lost quite a bit of kelp in our local coastline, even on the islands. But it's coming back, and because it's coming back, the fish are there again. But whatever it is, for me, I've just been lucky, I think. This is where I feel that luck meets preparedness, because you can still find the fish and blow it. So in this case, I didn't blow it. I've got this guy. I'm very stoked. This guy is about 39 pounds, and I haven't gutted it, so I don't even know if it's a male or female yet. I just bled it and all. So that's the story. It's been an amazing season so far for me. I don't know that I'm going to go out for any white sea bass specifically, but you know, you never know when you're out looking for other pelagics what you'll come across. And I wanted to share this with you. Again, this is a milestone for me. And that's it. So this is a quick video to share with you what I'm doing. After I turn off this camera, I'm going to be taking care of this fish. And so for me, when I get a nice fish, managing the fish properly is a lot of work for me. You guys know that I try not to waste anything to protect our valuable resources that we have here and actually all over the world. So there's a lot to process on this. So I'm going to get going. I hope you enjoyed the video, and consider giving me a like. Really appreciate that. And also consider subscribing if you haven't already, and join me on more adventures, discovering, exploring beautiful California and beyond. Until next time, take care.